Today marks about 2 weeks since I have decided to not log on to Instagram, and it is healing my brain. I've had Instagram since I think since I've had an iPhone. The year I got the iPhone was my senior year in high school, which was 2012. I downloaded Instagram and started it around then when I started college. And Instagram, as long as I can remember since then, has been a huge part of my expression as an artist and just a person, just an LA girl, just trying to figure out her life. It's been a wonderful app to meet people. Like, so many benefits, so many good things have come from having an Instagram account. It's just always been my favorite social media for as long as I can remember. For the last year or two though, it's been really weighing on my mental health, and I always just convinced myself to keep it because it's a part of my job as a content creator, be that a musician or a comedian content creator, and I've done both, and I've used Instagram in both instances, and it's worked very well to have Instagram as a tool. I've always convinced myself to just keep the app and figure out a way to just manage it and manage my self-control. Just develop a self-control to not log on, and I have actually done that this time. I didn't delete the app, I didn't log out, because you lose all your drafts when you delete the app, and I have a lot of drafts. So I just decided to not log on and not open the app for the next 30 days, and I decided that in the beginning of May. There was a very specific day. My husband was out of town, and I had a couple of days to just kind of focus on making YouTube videos, and I've always been trying to go, okay, YouTube, and then Instagram, and then TikTok, and Shorts, and like, how can I make my social media content strategy work with all the social medias? So I've been in that paradigm for the last year or two. I started to get so distracted by what other creators were making, and if you're anything like me, I'm a sensitive person, I'm a malleable person, I'm a multifaceted person, and I don't just have one or two interests. I'm having trouble with just music and comedy and trying to figure out how to brand that so people can digest that easier. I did music for 11 years, and I used Instagram as a huge part of that marketing and just a tool to promote my shows and my songs, and it was a big part of my expression as an artist. And then when I pivoted into comedy, sketch comedy, the last 5 years, that was very helpful, and I had been hitting numbers higher than before, went super viral. But then I started to notice that everyone has gone viral now. Everyone has that pinned post at the top of their page with the millions of views, and then their regular videos just get normal amounts of views. So I'm starting to have some like doubt of the system. Like, are these bots? Like, is this even real? And in general, the culture of Instagram is just very like superficial, and it's all about the highlight reel, and it's not so much about the depth and the intimate nature of what life is really about. And that is why I love YouTube so much. I just comparing posting to YouTube and Instagram, the comments are always so much more thoughtful and deep, and just seems like a culture of adding value to each other's lives. And it's user generated, so people are sharing their personal stories, their value, their education, and others are kind of coming in with that same energy of just, I don't know, wanting to learn from one another and really just making thought-provoking content and thought-provoking conversation and leaving really thoughtful comments. I've always noticed that difference, even though I was having more reach and higher views and technically have more followers on Instagram. I don't know why I put that in quotes, but I just sort of feel like Instagram feels so fake to me because I have more followers and I have more views, like millions and millions of views, and more viral videos on Instagram, but I just don't feel that same depth of connection with my followers over there. I just sort of feel like YouTube is the right home for me as an artist. You know, there's so many changes and AI and algorithms. It was driving me nuts. I had this like Google Doc of listing all of my skills and talents and all of the things I could possibly pivot again into a new niche. And also I discovered that a friend of mine, like a very talented girl, a really great, thoughtful, smart creator who has a podcast and makes little funny skits as well, like grew by 300,000 followers since the last time I checked her page and last time I saw her, which was like 6 months ago, and I've only lost followers. And it just like, the comparison of that really sent me in a negative direction, and my mental health was not good. I just remember going to sleep that night like fuming and just like going to sleep angry. And I would never go to sleep angry at my significant other. So why was I allowing myself to go to bed angry with myself and my life and my whole situation? So I woke up the next morning and I went, you know what? Instagram is not worth my mental health. I'm taking a 30-day break. I've been considering taking a 30-day break for years. This is the first time I've done it. And within a day or 2 days, I started noticing my creativity has been flourishing. Like, it instantly came back. And YouTube is just such a wonderful platform for multifaceted artists, like people who have more than one interest or more than one skill or talent. And I just feel like YouTube is just the best place for me. And I know that I'm not the only one. I'm seeing lots of videos of people saying got off social media, but they're still posting videos on YouTube. So it's interesting that people don't really consider YouTube a social media because there isn't following and there's no messaging platform. But I kind of like that about it. People can be mean, and that's something that I've had to learn in the last couple of weeks. I've had a couple videos get picked up in the algorithm, and you know, while hate comments can be a sign that your content is being pushed to a bigger audience, the hate comments, they hurt, you know, they hurt a little bit. But back to Instagram. I'm only halfway through the month, and I just feel like I wanted to share lessons I learned in 30 days of not logging on Instagram. So let's get into the lessons. The first lesson I learned without Instagram was that my brain has a neural pathway carved out going straight to Instagram. Every time I'd open my phone, my thumb would open up Instagram, and there were moments where it would be open and I went, ah, and I would close it before anything loaded. And it just helped me to realize that it was a habit that was so ingrained in my subconscious that Instagram was the first thing that I would open every time I picked up my phone. So that had to be broken. The second thing I learned, and this might be a little bit more woo-woo than some of you might be able to handle, but I feel like I was being tested about how serious I was, because as soon as I decided to take a month off, Meta called me. Several months ago, I had signed up on one of these links I saw advertised when I opened up Instagram about talking to a real Meta employee about how to improve your content strategy. I think it said, we see your hard work and we want to help you. So I had a long conversation with a Meta employee, and they were mostly just calling so they could promote their new Meta AI app and all of the AI features that they're rolling out on Instagram, which honestly, no one wants that. Like, I don't want that. You don't want that. It's just like, nobody freaking cares about AI. It's just here to replace us, and it's just annoying. And I just find AI generated content to be just like annoying and not valuable at all. We talked a little bit about content strategy and how I can do better, and they told me my content is super high quality, and they said that posting 3 times a week on Reels and once a week on carousels would help reach more people and nurture my current audience more. So if that helps you in any way, please take it. But you probably clicked on this video because you want the courage to take a 30-day break from Instagram. And honestly, there is no harm in doing that. I think it can only benefit your mental health, and just a test to see how it will benefit your life and your spirit. I guess that's lesson number 2. You will be tested once you make an airtight decision like this. And of course, I stuck to my guns. The third lesson, I realized after the fact how distracted I had been by other people's content, by their niche, by their style, by their editing style, by their approach. And it just was so distracting to me as a creative. And when I was looking for inspiration, I was never finding it on Instagram. Yes, I was finding other creators that did cool stuff, but is that inspiration or is that copycatting? And I'm gonna do a whole other video on artist copycatting, because there is an etiquette to creatives borrowing ideas and making it their own, and a lot of artists do not have that freaking etiquette, okay? Because it is ridiculous how some artists pretend that, oh, it's you know, derivative and it's flattery. No, it's stealing. And I'm just not about that life. Yes, there's always a way to transmute it and turn it into something your own. But but I wasn't feeling moved enough to create something that I saw someone else do. Just something doesn't feel right in my spirit. I always want to feel like I have an idea in my real life when I'm having fun, when I'm relaxed. That's when I come up with the best ideas, and that's when I make the best content and make the best pieces of art. So I've been way less distracted about what everyone else is doing, and I've been more in tune with my own pure divine inspiration. Another lesson I learned, this was about 3 or 4 days in, I use logging onto Instagram as a trigger response. I had this moment when I was in the sauna in my gym, propped myself up on the top shelf, on the top bench, and I felt something snag my expensive Alphalete shorts. I just ripped a hole in my shorts because there was a staple sticking out of the sauna, and it pissed me off so much because I'm like, that could really have, it actually did scratch me a little bit, but that could have really hurt someone, and it ruined my shorts. It has like a big old hole in them now. And I told the manager, I said, hey, there's a big staple sticking out of the sauna and it ruined my shorts. And they're like, oh, let me have someone come look at that. So I went back in the sauna, opened my phone. I was like really grumpy and angry. And then the first thing I did was open Instagram, and I was like, what am I doing? So I noticed that I have been using Instagram as a trigger response and an escape in the moments that I'm triggered. So that was enlightening. Another lesson I learned is I did not have as much reason to check the phone since I decided to not log on to Instagram anymore. I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels like, oh man, nobody's reaching out to me, nobody's commenting, or nobody's texting, and that can feel, you know, like a bummer. You check your phone and there's no notifications and you're like, I guess nobody remembered me, nobody cares about me. I know that's ridiculous, but that's what it can feel like sometimes because we're in this hybrid digital social situation. Another lesson I learned, I've lost track of the lessons, you can obsess about anything if you put your mind to it. I pretty immediately started to notice some significant results here on my YouTube channel when I started focusing 100% of my attention to YouTube content creation. Obviously, this felt freaking awesome. And I even had a couple videos get picked up in the algorithm, which I said got a lot of comments, and some of them were pretty mean comments. And I started to obsess a little bit and check the app, the YouTube Studio app, too many times to count, and it was probably a very unhealthy amount. So I was definitely replacing the amount of times I would have checked Instagram with YouTube Studio and YouTube. And when I wasn't checking YouTube Studio and all my analytics and obsessing and getting triggered by all the mean comments and or you know, feeling inspired by like the lovely comments I was getting or even lovely emails I've received from some of you very thoughtful, sweet subscribers that want to connect with me on a deeper level, I was just going on YouTube and scrolling YouTube instead because that's allowed and saving video after video to watch later. And I noticed how easy it is for me to obsess about things. So that's a lesson in self-awareness and recognizing in general that I am just spending way too much time in the digital world, way too much time consuming, and that's something I want to work on. So do you see how much self-awareness I have since getting off Instagram? I just feel like it's only been good things. And I don't know if I'm going to stay off Instagram forever, but I have a way different relationship to it now that I have taken this break, and it's only done wonders for my brain and my spirit and my creativity. And if you're an artist or a multifaceted person, or if you have a story you want to tell, if you have something you want to teach people, I highly recommend you do it here on YouTube. It's just such a good platform for artists, and it is the one platform that actually, I would say, most closely properly pays you. Facebook video ain't it, Instagram ain't it, Meta ain't it, I'm sorry to say. I finally got monetized on Facebook after years of trying and after years of having viral videos on Facebook. $0. I finally get monetized and I got all excited and I made like $8. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going exclusive on YouTube. You can find my videos here, my comedy videos, my talking to the camera videos here on YouTube, and it's been a wonderful journey so far. So I really hope that if you feel called to do it, maybe this is your sign. I think you'll be amazed with what you'll find with your extra time and the extra mental space and the extra time not spent doubting yourself, comparing yourself, and just being distracted by other people's highlight reels. So I hope you subscribe and stick around, and thank you so much for watching this video. And hey, I would say follow me on Instagram, but I don't really spend that much time there anymore, so subscribe.